Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Linda. Here on this channel, I share videos about sewing, pattern drafting, and everything fashion in general. On today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to sew this armhole bustier corset top with basque effect, which we drafted in our last video. If this sounds like what you're interested in, you might want to hit the subscribe button and let's begin. So guys, welcome back. So as you can see on my work table, I already went ahead to cut out the lining pieces for each of the patterns, and now I'm just taking away the lining, and because I want to work with the patterns first of all. So for the cups, I'll be working on the cups first of all, and for the lining, I'll go ahead and use my pin to mark the midpoint, the middle in which I'll be stitching together. Okay, and now I'll just have to take away my patterns and then start with the main job. After I was done taking out the pattern, I went ahead to attach my stay to it, and I did 2 layers for the cup and then 4 layers for the lower part. I chose to attach 4 layers for the lower part because I don't have a boning to attach on this later on. So I'll just go ahead and use only bias tape as time goes on. So guys, in my last video, I talked about this part which is longer, and why I made it longer because this is going to be forming our basque. So I will just go ahead and set this aside and then work on the cups for now. So for the cups, I'll go ahead and just attach it like this, right side to right side facing each other, and stitch it from below. And I'll also go ahead and do the same thing for the other cup as well. And after that, I'll just go ahead and also stitch this lower part. I'll go ahead and open it up like this and then place it right side to right side, making sure to align it to be straight and then stitch it. I'll be turning this part like this and then stitch it on my machine, and that is when I'll cut out my basque effect after I was done stitching these 3 parts together. Whatever I do for the main fabric, I'll go ahead and do the same thing for the lining pieces. Okay, so this is what I have after I was done attaching everything together. I also attached the lining piece like I said, and this is what I have for the cups. Okay, now this is how beautiful the cup is already looking after I was done attaching them together. I'll be setting this aside for now and work on the lower parts. For the lower parts, I will just go ahead and iron it out and then flatten this place up. I'll be opening up the seams to make it flatter, and then I'll also do the same thing for the lining piece as well. Heading back to the cup, I will go ahead and notch the seam lines, and it's best to use a scissors that is not so sharp to do this, just in case your scissors cuts through the seams. So next I'll just go ahead and open up the seams like this and then iron it out to make it flatter, and also I'll be doing the same thing for the other cup as well. Now this is what I have afterwards. I'm going to be placing my wording in it, and for my wording, this is what I'll be using. You can see that it has no adhesive whatsoever on it, and this is going to be my adhesive for it. I'll be using this hemming gum as my adhesive for it, and I'm just going to cut out this part of the cup to get a rounder shape. So guys, like I said before, this particular wording I am using does not have any form of adhesive, so it's best to pair it up with your hemming gum. I love this wording so much because it's so soft and so easy to maneuver. Okay, so I'm just going to remove my pins, and this is what I have for my cups. So guys, just go ahead and mark the lower part and observe which part is the lower part and which part is right above the bust. So I'll be using my pins to note that down, and this is going to remind me. So I'll just go ahead and stitch this up on the machine using a zigzag stitch. Okay, so just go ahead and stitch it like this on the machine with a zigzag stitch, and this is what I have after I was done stitching them up, and it's so nice. I'll just bring it closer to you for a closer look. This is how it looks like after I was done stitching them with a zigzag stitch. If your machine does not have a zigzag stitch, just go ahead and use your hand to stitch it together. Make sure you follow it in a zigzag manner. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and place this wording underneath my cup, making the lines to be vertical like I am pointing. So the zigzag stitch seams on the wording is going to be facing the same direction as my seam lines on my bustier cup. So next I'll be using my hemming gum to lace the wording. So just go ahead and cut it bits by bits and place them on top of the wording like you see me doing. I'll just gently arrange it in a circular manner to cover at least 80% of the wording. So this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see this very well because my camera isn't giving justice to the video. Probably because it's on a white background. So just go ahead and bring this up like this and then place it underneath my cup bustier, and also I'll make sure that the lines are vertical, same way my seam lines are on the cup bustier, and then I'll go ahead and use my tailor's ham to iron it out. So guys, for the love of ironing, I always love using my seamless iron to do much of my pressing because it gives me what I want. Now this is what I have after I was done pressing. So strong, it's giving it a very strong hold, okay, so it's not going to pull out whatsoever in the nearest possible time. It's so firm and it's very soft and it's not hard at all. So now I'll just go ahead and place this like this. This is how it's supposed to look like on our top, and the next thing I'll be doing right now is just to bring the lower part, and then I'm just going to attach my bias strip like this on the lines which I have stitched together. This is what I have for the middle part. I'm just going to make sure I have a long one in the middle, and then at the sides I'll be having shorter ones as well. So I'll just go ahead and secure it with my pins and then hold it in place before stitching them together. You can as well go ahead and place it the way you want. You can follow any design which you want. You can make it in a V shape. You can go ahead and make it in a inverted V shape. Just follow your mind and do it. So what I am doing right now also is just to attach my bias strip on top of the seam lines of the bust like this. Guys, it's not really a must for you to follow this pattern. I'm just really designing them on my own accord, so you can go ahead and do whatever you want on your bustier part, and it's totally up to you and it is okay. So I'll just go ahead and secure this part with my pins, and then I'll go to the machine and stitch them together. Now I have stitched down one part of the cup together, and then I'll show you guys how I did it with the other one. Now for this part, you're going to align them right side to right side so that the two bias strip lines will be meeting together like this, and then just go ahead and stitch it. Make sure you hold a pin in the middle like so. So just secure the middle with the pin, make sure that the lines are aligning together, okay, and then add your pins at the corners like this to secure it in place. You can go ahead and stitch it straight directly on your machine board. I recommend you pin it down first of all before doing so. Just go ahead and stitch it at this part. Make sure to start from the middle like this and then stitch all the way to the corners of the side. I also did the same thing for the other part already. This is what I have after I was done stitching everything. And I also went ahead to iron out the seams from the underbust like this. You can see how beautiful and nice it is looking already. Oh my god, this is so gorgeous. So next I'm just going to place another line of bias like this around the underbust, and then I will do the same thing for this part. I'll just go ahead and stitch it. This is how it's looking after I was done stitching them together and everything has come into place. The front piece is ready. So guys, for the back piece, I'll just go ahead and stitch everything up together, but first of all I'll be explaining how. So now for the dart, I'll just go ahead and fold it in two like this using the notch points I made for the dart, and then I'll stitch it upwards like this, and also do the same thing for the lining part. This is what I have after I was done stitching the darts and also closing the sides and the neckline. So when I had to notch the seams on the neckline and also top stitch on it towards the lining part, and I also went ahead to close the sides of the zipper. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to go ahead and turn it inside out and then give it a nice press. This is what I have after I was done pressing everything. This is how flat and nice it is. So I'll just go ahead and also fold this part for the zipper to give it that same line, and I'll be taking out 1.5 like I measured initially for it, and then I'll fold it this way and press it very well. So I decided to check it out by placing it on top of the front piece just to see how it looks like when I am stitching it together before cutting out the basque effect. So this is what it's going to look like. So next I'll just go ahead and take out 1.5 inch for the general stitching allowance like this, because I'll be connecting my basque waistline from that point. I'll also go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. After I was done marking out the line, it's time to draw a slanted line to the midpoint of where I want my basque effect to stop. And this is how it looks like. You can see that my slanted lines were drawn from those points where my general stitching allowance began. And then I'm just going to trim out the excesses. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow till I finally prove it. Never listen to. So guys, this is what I have after I was done trimming out the front piece, and now I'm just going to attach my lining piece right side to right side facing each other. So I'll just go ahead and align this and then stitch it on the neckline just like I did for the back piece. So it's best to secure these two pieces together before attaching it on your machine. This is to give it a neat look. After I was done stitching them together, the next thing I did was to gently notch the curved part. This is to give it more flexibility before stitching it down. And now I'm just going to turn it inside out and then top stitch on it first of all before pressing it with my iron. I also didn't forget to trim out the excesses around the notch area for the both sides of the cup. And this is how it looks like after I was done. Our top is coming together in one piece. If you have a bra wire, you can just go ahead and insert it into the bias line, which I just created as a channel. So you can insert your bra wire to give it more hold. And now it's time to close the down part. I'll go ahead and align this and then secure it with my pins before stitching it down on the machine. And now I'm done with the front piece. It's time to attach the back. So for the back, I've gone ahead to do the same thing I did for the front. And I also attached the zipper. And I'm just going to attach it on the shoulders like this, then stitch them together before stitching the sides. And now this is what I have for my shoulder. It's been stitched together and our top is coming together. So now for me to stitch the sides, I went ahead to measure 1.5-inch stitching allowance, which I gave initially. This is what it looks like after I was done stitching everything together. I'll go ahead and iron it one more time and then I will close the armhole part with the bias strip. Okay, so for the bias I'll be using this black bias and then I'll just run it across all around to close it. And we have come to the end of the video. This is how it looks like after I was done with all the stitching on this top. If you like this video, kindly click the subscribe button and also tap on the notification bell. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.